Hello, Hershey Bears fans. Thank you for being with us here today for this virtual media event introducing Scott Allen as the 27th head coach in Hershey Bears franchise history. We wish we could do this with you here in person at Giant Center. In due time, I promise. We're all counting the days until October 16th, opening night on the new season here in Chocolatetown. We can't wait to hear the roar of our fans again. My name is Zach Fish, the manager of media relations and broadcasting for the Bears. And today is another historic day in this storied franchise's history. In a moment, you'll hear from Vice President of Hockey Operations, Brian Helmer, as we introduce our new head coach, Scott Allen. We'll also be bringing you a special edition of Bears Live coming up directly following Scott Allen's comments. Matt Truss will join myself. We'll chat further with Scott Allen, as well as introduce you to new assistant coach, Steve Bergin, who'll join us in just a bit. Lots to talk about for this team, an exciting year ahead for the Hershey Bears. Do want to say thank you to our media joining us today, and check your email for a Zoom availability link. You'll have a chance to chat with Scott Allen a little bit later as well. Quick thank you to Spencer Carberry for his 3 years here in Hershey, dating back to our days in South Carolina. What a wonderful person. What a great hockey coach. Wish him all the best in Toronto. And it's never easy to replace people like him. Big shoes to fill, but Scott Allen is the man for the job, and Brian Helmer will expand upon in just a minute why he was the perfect fit for this organization. I can tell you what I know about Scotty. He loves to win, and he'll do whatever it takes to win, whether that's driving the team bus or strapping on the pads and getting in the net playing goaltender. He's done both of those teams for teams he's worked for or played for in his time. I kid you not. Those are great stories we'll have to chat with him about sometime down the road. I think we're just going to ask him to win hockey games and coach here in Chocolatetown, but he's the right fit for the job, and we're very excited to have him. Without further ado, I want to welcome in our VP of Hockey Operations, Brian Helmer.
Thanks, Zach. Today is a very exciting day for the Hershey Bears and the Washington Capitals to announce Hershey's 27th head coach in franchise history. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who's joined us online today. I say this all the time. Our fans are the best fans in hockey. I'd also like to take a second and thank Spencer Carberry for his 3 years of dedication to this franchise. I wish him, Casey, and the kids all the best in Toronto. Thank you to Hershey Entertainment Resorts for your support through this process. Also, I'd like to thank the Washington Capitals, Chris Patrick, Jason Fitzsimmons, Brian McClellan, and South Carolina's president, Robbie Kincannon, for their commitment in this hire. We had a lot of great candidates, and we feel we picked the perfect coach to carry on the success that we have built to help this franchise chase down its 12th Calder Cup. Hiring Scott Allen as our new head coach was a very vital decision to help our historic franchise in this next chapter. Scotty brings a wealth of experience to this position, and the one thing he is very proud of is he's coached 25 consecutive years in many different leagues, including the NHL, with the last 2 being in Hershey. His personality, work ethic, dedication, and knowledge of this team makes him a perfect fit. We are very happy for Scotty, his wife Tracy, and their 2 daughters. With Scotty moving into the head coaching position, we have hired Steve Bergin as his replacement. Steve is a former head coach of the year in the ECHL with the South Carolina Stingrays. He has first-hand knowledge of some of our players, staff, at the time he spent in South Carolina. He also knows the high expectations of winning and developing in Hershey. He is a high-character guy that will fit in seamlessly. Without further ado, I am proud to introduce the newest head coach of your Hershey Bears, Scott Allen.
Thank you very much, Brian. I do have a list of people that I would like to thank to start off, starting right from the top with Mr. Ted Leonsis, Mr. Dick Patrick, Brian McClellan, John Lawn, Vicky Helquist, Chris Patrick, Brian Helmer, Jason Fitzsimmons, Steve Richmond, Ole Kolzig, Brooks Orpik, Jimmy Slater. Our incredible staff in Hershey, Patrick Weller, Alex Westland, Emily Engel-Natsky, Mike Wagner, Steve Bergin, Dan Beeka-Stuck, Josh Carter, Dylan Philippus, Brian Riedel, Sean Fleazar, Zach Fish. I say this all the time throughout the years. I do truly believe it and mean it. I have an incredible support group of family and friends who for the last 35 plus years have been very supportive and encouraging along the way. And that's my family and friends, strong base in Massachusetts, Iowa, and even Nashville, Tennessee. Probably the most important three people in my life: my wife, Tracy, my daughters, Mackenzie and Cameron. There was one more person I'd like to bring up in this. His name is Alan May. Alan May and I were teammates 35 years ago in the Atlantic Coast Hockey League. Without doubt, one of the best teammates I ever had. Throughout the years, we fortunately stayed in touch. He was able to make it to the National Hockey League as a player. I was fortunate enough to make it as a coach. And now here we are intertwined once again for the last couple of years and continuing that with this Washington Capitals organization through the Hershey Bears also. So last thing, and I probably should have started with this first, and I meant to start with this first, is a huge congratulations to Spencer Carberry and his family. It was unreal working on his staff these last 2 seasons. We're certainly going to miss him in Hershey, but we're certainly proud of all his accomplishments, and we're going to continue to root for him as he goes along in his career. Hershey Bears organization, what can you say about it? I mean, 1938, we're talking about a American Hockey League franchise, the most historic American Hockey League franchise. And it is such an honor and a privilege. Again, I've worked here for the last 2 seasons, so all this does is extend that honor and privilege to continue to work in Hershey for the Hershey Bears. Incredible fan base, incredible history. I believe Gordie Howe once said, anybody who's anybody in hockey played at one time in Hershey, minus himself, and there obviously are a few others, but the tradition, the number of players that have come through there. When we shut down 2 years ago because of the COVID pandemic, we were averaging 10,000 fans a night, and it is such a great atmosphere. And I truly believe it is one of the best jobs in hockey. Obviously the National Hockey League is a separate entity, and it's the best league in the world. But I know it was always considered a 31st, then a 32nd franchise. Now it's probably the 33rd with Seattle coming in. So again, it is truly an honor and a privilege, something that I'm looking forward to. I can honestly say something that I never thought about up until a couple of weeks ago, when Spencer got the job and decided to take the job in Toronto. And I was approached by upper management to see if I was interested in becoming the head coach. And initially, I had to take a step back. I didn't give a yes right away. I wanted some time to think about it because, again, it was something I hadn't thought about. But as the days progressed and I put some thought into it, and my wife and I talked to some other people. I think it was a situation that I would have been foolish to not to pursue. So I'm very proud and honored of given this privilege to try to continue what was started in 1938, what in the last couple of years I think we've laid a very strong foundation. Unfortunately, hadn't been able to compete in the playoffs and see what could have, should have, would have, maybe have been, but that's what we're looking to do. Peter Laviolette called me yesterday to congratulate me, and we had a good conversation. I said to him, we're looking to continue this thing and take this in the right direction, and it's a strong responsibility in the American Hockey League to develop players, and make no bones about it. In Hershey, we want to win also. When I talk about winning, that's a Calder Cup. So again, thanks to all the people. I know I probably left some people out, but and I apologize if your name wasn't mentioned, but thank you once again, everybody I mentioned, to the fans of the Hershey Bears. Again, we're looking to keep this going in the right direction.
Welcome to a special edition of Bears Live. The Hershey Bears have named Scott Allen the 27th coach in franchise history. You just saw his introductory press conference. Don't go anywhere. Scotty Allen will be rejoining us to chat exclusively here across Hershey Bears social media. With Matt Trust, I'm Zach Fish, the voice of the Bears. Great to have you with us. We'll also hear from new assistant coach Steve Bergin in just a few minutes and get you ready for the season. Well, Matt Trust, good to have you back here after some time in the ECHL. You're back with the Hershey Bears, and we're already counting the days till October 16th.
Yeah, really great to be back in the organization. Great to be standing here with you, and it's a great day for this organization with the bench staff being rolled out. We know Scott Allen will be the man leading the troops. Steve Bergin, well-deserved promotion to the AHL after a nice tenure in South Carolina.
We'll hear from both those guys in just a moment, but you mentioned Scott Allen comes in. You heard from him, very well spoken, from Boston area. He's there right now, but he and his wife will be here in Chocolate Town very shortly. Looking forward to having him. And it's a familiar face. He's been here for 2 years, an assistant coach for the last 2 seasons, but 25 straight years of being a professional hockey coach at the ECHL, NHL, and American Hockey League level. Many stops along the way, but an impressive career. He knows so many people. He's going to be great to lead this group.
Yeah, and a quick story for you about Scott Allen and the type of person that he is, and really one of the early eye-openings for me over the quality of coach he is as well. It was early in the 2019-2020 season. We had just concluded our Canadian road trip. We won a game in Quebec against the Rocket. And after the game, we're at the hotel bar, and the clock strikes midnight, and it was my 24th birthday. And he said to me, so he goes, "Padre, so you're 24 now?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I've been coaching pro hockey for 24 seasons. And if there was anything that was just an eye-opener for me in terms of a guy that loves this game, he loves development, he loves winning. And I think when you add all that together, he's the right guy to be leading this organization.
And we're going to get to it in a minute. There's so many familiar faces back that already know Scott Allen that he is going to be the guy to lead this group to that Calder Cup. And he joins us right now on Zoom, everything virtual these days. Scott Allen with us. And Coach, first of all, congratulations. It's an honor to have you here. Take us through this process a little bit. You went behind the scenes. How did this kind of all unfold over the last couple weeks?
Yeah, leading up to that, Spencer had reached out to me prior to his interview, and then after he was offered the job. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen, if he was going to take it or not. I just, I told him either way it was whatever decision he chose to make was going to be the right decision for him and his family. The next day he called me, told me he was leaving, heading to Toronto. Within minutes of that, somebody from the organization had reached out and asked, if I was going to pursue the head coaching job, and my answer to that was, well, I'm not sure. And I think he was taken back a little bit. But what I tried to explain is, I never once have taken the job thinking about my next job. I've always been a guy who digs in, dials in. So when this organization hired me to be an assistant coach on this staff, I was full 100% on board with just that. It was never a situation where, well, maybe if Spencer leaves or even that I go, well, I would have done it this way or that way. It was always just trying to be the best assistant coach I could be at the time. So I needed some time to think about it, to process the situation. It'd been 5 years since I even thought about becoming a head coach. And at my last head coaching stint, actually, my last game coaching as a head coach was against the Hershey Bears in Hershey, Game 5, first round. Unfortunately, we lost that game, and Hershey moved on and actually went to the finals that year. But other than that, I moved to the NHL for 3 years as an assistant coach, and the last 2 years as an assistant coach. So, when you focus on one thing for so long, I just think it's wrong to try to say right away, yeah, this is what I want to do. I needed to step back. I needed to talk to some people. And when it was all said and done, I realized what a tremendous opportunity this organization was given to me. I looked down the line of the different people, again, who have their path has gone through Hershey, and it's incredible. It's amazing to be a part of that list, to be added to that list as a head coach, again, was something I probably would have been foolish to turn down.
You mentioned head coach, assistant coach. You've been an assistant coach for a lot of your career. Now you get to be the head coach. You get to be named in the offseason. Tell us a little bit about it. What are the differences between being a head coach and assistant coach? How do you have to change your approach coming into this year?
Well, you've obviously got a little more on your plate. You do have final say. The way this has changed from when I first started coaching 25 years ago to even when I was coaching in Portland is the size of the staff. The staffs have grown in a big way. 2 full-time assistants, three, I should say, because, full-time video assistant, full-time goalie coach, full-time strength coach. And you know what? There's some tremendous people in those positions in this organization. For me to try to think things through and delegate, and I want their input too. They all know that already. I want to continue to help them expand and continue to grow as coaches and as people. And that's what they need to do to me. Also, they need to challenge me on a daily basis to continue to grow as a head coach. Dealing with the media is different. You don't do that as an assistant coach. Jokingly, I say it all the time. I like being an assistant coach because I feel I could do more coaching. But I will say this, I will continue to do the amount of coaching that I've always done being a head coach. Obviously some delegation, but the video sessions individually with players, the extra on-ice sessions before practice, after practice, running drills in practice. None of that stuff is going to change. I won't let it change. But like I said, I will utilize the strong support staff that I have around me.
Scotty, congratulations to you. I'm sure it seems like it was just yesterday you were coaching in the ECHL in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I'm not going to tell you how old I was when you were doing so, but nonetheless, we all know the game has certainly changed quite a bit over the years. And with that, could you talk about how you have evolved as a coach throughout time and ultimately all those stops on the journey preparing you for this moment?
You know what? Today's athlete, they're growing up in the information era. Back when I was playing and then when I first started coaching, it was more, players did things because the coaches told them to do things. There were always guys who probably fought that, and most of those guys didn't have success. But in that aspect, it's changed in a big way. The amount of information that's available to everybody through video, through analytics. And by the way, analytics is a fancy word for stats. There were stats kept back in the day. I know it's grown tremendously, and I welcome that. I have continued to grow as a coach. I think for those who haven't, who were coaching back then, you get left behind. I love the fact that the players want more information. They want to know the hows and the whys. And, it's not just, do this because the coach said so. It's more so, well, why are we doing this? Well, this is why we're doing this. And that's actually helped me because I've always been a strong believer and a user of video. Back when I first started coaching, it was VCR. It moved on to DVD. Then it moved on to computerized, and I was horrified each step of the way on those changes because back with the VCR, I was a master of the 2 remotes, being able to play and record to cut some and splice some tape, and then DVD, same thing. I got very comfortable with that, so it was a huge challenge when I first had to go to the computerized system. But now I love it, and again, it's a huge benefit because I think the players, the guys who have played for me in the past, they know I do my due diligence. They know I don't leave anything for second guess. I don't leave anything on the table. I will give them the reasons why and the hows and the whys, both team-wise and individual-wise. So for me, the way this has grown, and even nutrition, I mean, you know what, back when I was coaching in the East Coast Hockey League, one of our bus drivers, our bus driver's name was Frank Sisler, was a great man. Unfortunately, he's passed, but one of his jobs was wherever we went, he had to find a 7-Eleven post game, because back in the day, 7-Eleven was one of the first, stores that had a very nutritious aisle where you could find some protein bars and some, the different drinks, because you're getting on the bus, you guys have been there, you're grabbing a sub, you're grabbing a couple of slices of pizza, but I wanted our guys to be able to take care of themselves, be able to take care of their bodies, and that's grown in a tremendous way. I mean, you don't have to tell that the guys now, they all have their personal trainers. A lot of these guys have nutritionists. They know how to take care of themselves. So again, just in my foundation of my beliefs and what makes the best player that you can possibly be, it's all those things are involved in that. It's dotting the I's and crossing the T's and doing everything in your power to be the best that you can be. And all we try to do as a staff is enhance that. We try to continue in that, giving them direction, giving them guidance, and helping them along the way if in fact they stray off that path a little bit.
Scotty, for you, it's an organization that you have been a part of for a few years now, and subsequently, a lot of the players also with this team, they're going into their third year with the Caps and Bears organization as well. Did all of that play a part in the decision-making to ultimately take this role as the next head coach of the Hershey Bears?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's actually something, because Spencer Carberry and I talked a few times, and because I told him I wasn't sure that I wanted to do this, and it's something that he brought up, and that we talked about as far as what we've done here the last couple of years under his guidance, and continuing with that, but having that strong foundation of returning players, and even the fact that two of our leaders, I hope Mike Scott Bosa goes into camp and makes the Washington Capitals, but if in fact he is in Hershey, a guy like him and Matt Molson, I had the privilege of coaching both those guys in the National Hockey League. So, our relationship was already in place prior to me coming to Hershey, and it's continued to grow in Hershey. And the young guys. I mean, the young guys are lifeblood of the organization, and I'm very excited. We got some guys coming to their third year who probably have had a little bit of a tough first 2 years, but I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited to see where they are in camp, and hoping to build on that, because for a lot of guys, that's a huge step. A guy like Garrett Pilon and what he did last year in year 3 of his pro career. So, it is certainly exciting. That part of it certainly was enticing with the potential returning players. Again, I truly hope that some of these guys that have been here for the last couple of years, I don't see them at all this year. But we all know the reality is, you can look at the skeleton lineup in Washington and possibly the skeleton lineup. So you have a general idea if everybody stays healthy of where some guys may look to fall into place, but to continue to have those guys improve under our tutelage is an exciting part of this whole thing.
Scott Allen, thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to getting you back here in Chocolate Town this upcoming season. Can't wait to see you leading the Bears. Congratulations, 27th head coach in franchise history. Has a great ring to it. Appreciate you doing this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. You know that. I've appreciated working with you guys, and I'm looking forward to having that continue.
Well, we love working with him, too. Scott Allen is the best in the business. Excited to have him head coach of the Hershey Bears. And, Matt, there's a lot of excitement for this team because they've been robbed of a chance to win the Calder Cup 2 years in a row. You alluded to it in your question with Scott Allen. This team was unbelievable in his first year in 1920, and then the COVID-shortened season, the 33 games last year, the Bears won the league. They were the best team, McGregor Kilpatrick Trophy, a lot of returning faces. So we look at some of the highlights from last year. This was a fun team, and they're building on it with some nice free agent signings. Scott Allen's going to have the core back.
And you know what's really cool about him, and he alluded to it in one of his answers, but the relationships that he has built with some of the players on this team and members of our leadership core, they go before their time in Hershey. Mike Scarbosa is one, Matt Molson is another. So all those elements, and he's just a great teacher as well. He's a great guy, can be both the good cop and the bad cop. I'm really excited to see him, have this opportunity and really run with it.
Saw some of the guys that could be returning as we look at those players. The forwards is a busy crop of guys that could be back. Matt Molson, the captain, of course, on an American Hockey League contract. All these guys will be fighting, except for the guys on AHL deals, to try to get a spot in Washington. But Connor McMichael, who of course was on the all-rookie team, could be here again. Bears fans that had a chance to watch him last year know he's an electric player. And then Scarbosa, Pilon will be fighting for time. That is the core of this group. And then you get Beck Malenstein back on top of it. Don't want to glaze over the forwards, but looking at the defense too, Matt, this is where it's a little bit lighter, but you're expected to get some familiar faces from 2 years ago back, and a Bobby Nardella that could really help.
Yeah, Bobby Nardella, we did not see him in this shortened pandemic season, but a nice taste of him and what he brings to the table during his rookie season back in 1920. Great skating ability that makes up for his size, really good puck-moving defenseman. You add names too, like Alex Alexiev in there. Ultimately, there's a lot of youth on the blue line, but also, as we saw during free agency, it's going to be blended with some players that have played quite a bit in both the National Hockey League and the American Hockey League.
Cody Franzen, Dylan McElrath, Matt Irwin added to the fold, a lot of NHL games among those. And then you look at the goaltenders, the three that were in the organization that won that Harry Happ Holmes Memorial Trophy between Copley and Fucali will be back, and Hunter Shepard gets an NHL contract. The Bears are loaded with returning players. You see Phil Maillet depart. Paul Ledoux has not been re-signed, as Cameron Schilling as well. Other than that, the core of this group is back. Scott Allen will have a lot to work with for this club. Well, a lot of returning faces, but one new one that Bears fans might be unfamiliar with is the new assistant coach, Steve Bergin, joining the organization. A quick look at Steve Bergin's resume in just a moment, but South Carolina Coach of the Year, and he joins us right now. And Steve, it's great to have you here with us. First of all, welcome to Hershey. We're excited to have you in the organization. It's a busy time for you in this transition, but take us through the last couple of weeks for you when you found out there was a possibility with Scott Allen moving up to come to Hershey after spending some time in the Capitals organization with the South Carolina Stingrays.
Yeah, first of all, I'm really excited as well. It's great to be back in the organization. I was with South Carolina for 4 years. So to get back, in this organization, it's been awesome. But the process, it came about pretty quickly. I talked to Jason Fitzsimmons on the phone. He, after Spencer Carberry, got the job in Toronto, and then just went through the interview process and talked to Chris Patrick, Helmer, Rob Kincannon was involved in it, Jason Fitzsimmons. It was great. And, we just had a good conversation, and then, it kind of took off from there.
Bergie, congratulations to you. There have been many that have advanced from South Carolina to Hershey. You are now one that has been added to that list. You started there as an assistant. You moved into the head coaching role. You're a former Coach of the Year winner. What was your experience like with the Stingrays? And, it has to be pretty cool for you to now be the latest to climb that ladder and join this organization.
Yeah, I mean, the experience there was awesome. It's a great city, and it's an unbelievable organization. They gave me my first opportunity to coach. I came out of a plane, didn't have any coaching experience. Rob Kincannon and Ryan Warsofsky gave me an opportunity to be the assistant coach. And, I filled that role for 3 years, and then I was lucky enough to become the head coach for a year. And it was just, it was a great spot for my growth personally, to kind of learn the other side of hockey. There's a lot that goes into coaching and managing the players and, the relationships and all that stuff. So it was a great spot to grow. Obviously, South Carolina's done a great job of promoting coaches and, developing coaches. You can see the history of the guys that have gone through there, including Spencer Carberry. So it was great for myself, and, I had a great time, and, I couldn't be happier with how things went.
Well, from the Rays to the Bears, moving up to the American Hockey League level, I'm pretty sure you got to come here during training camp a couple years ago and get on the ice with the guys and learn about the history of Hershey a little bit. But what do you know about this organization? What really excites you about coming to the sweetest place on earth?
Yeah, I've been there the one time for training camp, like you said, so I don't have a ton of experience with being there, but the thing that sticks out to me is everyone I talk to, legitimately every single person I talk to says they absolutely love it. I haven't heard a single, bad thing about the town, the organization, the fan base. Everyone absolutely loves living there. So I know my wife and I were really excited to get there and get settled in and, enjoy the town.
Yeah, Bergie, I can tell you that you will love it here. All those people are absolutely right. I'm one that left the organization for a year and found myself back here, so it's a very special place. And you're working with some great coaches as well. Scott Allen hired, and the staff is already in place. Well, I'm sure you have plenty to discuss as you all get to know each other. But as the new guy on the staff now, what do you hope to bring to the table?
Yeah, obviously we'll have to get together with the staff and and discuss everyone's roles and all that. But for myself, I just try to be a player's coach. I try to build relationships with the players, build trust. It's all about developing them and getting them further in their journey. So I'm gonna be a guy that's gonna come in. I'm gonna be hungry. I'm gonna have a good work ethic. But the main thing is I'm gonna try to develop these players and develop. Not just their skill, but their winning attitude. I think that's something, that you really got to harp on, learning how to win and learning how to be a pro. So, that's something that I'm really going to focus on when I get to Hershey.
Well, we love hearing about that winning attitude, that winning culture that you're looking to bring here to Chocolatetown. Congratulations to you. We're excited to meet you and your family and have you here as the new assistant coach of the Hershey Bears. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Steve Bergin joining us there virtually on Zoom, and we're looking forward to getting to know these guys in person a little bit better. Hopefully we'll have full capacity. That's the plan as of right now at the Giant Center this upcoming year. Things still very in flux going forward, but we know the fans are going to be back. October 16th, we know, is opening night, a 76-game schedule for the Bears, and back to playing more than 3 teams after the oddball of last year. What we do know is this team has been really good over the past couple seasons. They're bringing in a great couple additions to the coaching staff, one new, one promoted. The sky's the limit for this club, and we're counting the days till opening night.
Yeah, best record in the AHL during last season. And the season before that, when 1920 came to an end, the team was trending in a pretty positive direction there. So I'm looking forward to it. It's almost storybook. You go into this season, so many returning pieces, and that sense of now here's our chance to step in and really finish the business that has been brewing for a couple seasons now.
Well, as we mentioned, opening night, October 16th, the Charlotte Checkers will be in town. Opening weekend is going to be a lot of fun. The Phantoms in town the next day. Lots of home games in the first half of the season. Schedule a little bit different this year with the fact that there's a lot of concerts that have to be made up and shows. It's going to be a busy time at Giant Center come 2022, but the Bears are ready. They got a good club, and we'll see on October 16th. We can't wait. HersheyBears.com for season ticket info. Individual game tickets will go on sale in the near future. Keep an eye out for promotional schedule, all that fun stuff as we inch closer and closer to puck drop on this new season. Matt, good to have you back. Great to have Scott Allen and Steve Bergin in their roles now, and let's drop the puck. I'm counting the days already. I can't wait to hear the roar of the Giant Center again.
Things are starting to feel normal again.
Fingers crossed.
We're talking about hockey. Hopefully, hopefully we get there. Can't wait for October 16th, and I know we're gonna have this place packed. A lot of pent-up energy. I think fans are ready to fill this place and again start to come out in full fruition cheer on their team.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about the roar of the crowd yelling. Home of the Bears, and just the excitement in the national anthem, the Go Bears that they say before every game. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. We can't wait for that. I want to say a big thank you to Scott Allen, Steve Bergin, Brian Helmer for joining us as part of this special edition of Bears Live in our introductory press conference. And a big thank you to Great Save Productions as well. Kevin Graham, Hank, their entire crew for putting this together. For Matt Truss, I'm Zach Fish. October 16th will be here before we know it. Scotty Allen at the helm, new coach of the Hershey Bears. We can't wait to drop the puck. We'll see you then.